And welcome to another ABR Chronicle. This is episode 2. This week I get the pleasure of playing against Alec B. I'm not going to try to say his last name because I can't see it, but I have him here with me. He's doing me a service, and he's coming on. He plays for Team Reapout. So introduce yourself and give everybody a little bit of a brief about who you are, Alec.
Yeah, I'm Alec. I've been on Reboot for I think a little over a year now. I at one point was pretty active writing for that website. If you want to go there, I had a series of articles called MetaWatch that I think still hold up reasonably well if you feel like checking those out. Yeah, since in-person play has been canceled, I've just been playing pretty casually online. I did the last ABR League and then this one just to have something to get me playing regularly without it being too intense.
Yeah, I think that's why we're all here, and I think that's why I've had like a good reach out as far as people being able to say, "Hey, yeah, cool, let's talk about our decks and talk about the matchup, and let's just play the game, right?" So the interesting thing about this week is ABR's rules stated we had to have an amber control of 3 or less, and I've seen two very different strategies across the different decks that I've seen. I've been looking and seeing what people are playing. So you have the traditional people who are going to try to basically amber rush you because, like, obviously that's a good strategy when you only have limited amount of amber capture. And then I see people who are trying to play like this interesting like engine based type deck, and that's what I think Alec is bringing to the table. So let's take a quick look at these decks, and we will discuss some of the engines. Now, two of the main engines that I've seen are the one like Alec has here. So you see his deck is the one on the right. It's called Banning Charitable Prison Arbiter, and mine is Soren P. Insolado. So for Soren P. Insolado is just a really high-end straight like rush deck, as you can see. Lots of dust pixies, lots of like key charge action going on. And since there's nothing to really slow me down, I can basically just go nuts and go to the wall with that. But I also have like some control over the board in my Dees and disrupting his swing for Amber. So like it's good. But the thing is in my deck, my swinging for Amber and stuff like that, my ways to stop him from doing things is based off of actions and building Amber through basically playing cards. But as you look in his deck, one of the engines he has going for him is the Logos house, right? The Logos house is super dangerous to me because if he chains a good Logos turn out and gets a bunch of creatures on the board, especially like if he gets both his Wormhole Technicians and his Igors in play, he can use those to basically just reap and out-reap me and probably outpace me if I don't draw into my Untamed. That's been my practicing against it, and I have to be wary of his Mimicry, as his Mimicry can definitely give him enough Amber to where he can steal my Key Charge. So my Key Charge, like going to the graveyard, is a interesting conundrum for me until I see that Mimicry come out. His Fangtooth Caverns are interesting, but I don't know if they'll have that great of an impact on the game, as I'm not really playing like a Martian suite. I think that the caverns and stuff would have been good if somebody was trying to play like the Brainstem Antenna Mind Warper combo, to where they basically would be able to get the value off the Mind Warper basically with the Brainstem Antenna, and I've seen a lot of those kind of decks. So those are interesting things, and I think the Fangtooth Caverns there would have been absolutely outstanding. He has a ton of control in these as far as like board control for creatures as well. So unlucky for him that this is a matchup where his deck isn't actually like his if his deck had played against one of those decks, I think his deck is super favored even at 67 sats because it plays really heavy and really hard on that. But I think he might run into some hiccups with me, especially if I high roll. If I high roll, I don't know how good of a chance he's going to have to keep up with the speed of my deck. But those are my initial looks at the meta and stuff. Why don't you speak on the decks and tell me what you think of it?
Yeah, I'd say I agree on a lot of that. I think my thought process was well, first I just looked at the decks that I have in my collection that met this restriction, which there were only like 12 or something. So it wasn't necessarily that I was choosing between a ton of decks anyway, but I assumed that most people would either be playing super fast rush decks or would be trying to sort of stick to the board and build the sorts of engines that you were mentioning. So things like getting like Com Officer Kirby's and Helmets and Spears and that sort of stuff in Star Alliance, or like kind of the logos I have here. And so I thought this one seemed like a fun option because it would be really strong against at least one of those strategies,
Mm-hmm.
the sort of engine types of decks. And you talked about the sort of high roll potential from your deck. I think both of these decks have that really strong potential. So
Mm-hmm.
I liked that this deck, if I can get a strong logos opening, can really just kind of win the game on like turn one, if everything kind of chains together right, and I just end the turn with, 6 creatures on the board that are
Mm-hmm.
going to just keep giving me value.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I with the sort of limited options I had, this one seemed like probably the most versatile and definitely the most interesting to play. 'Cause otherwise, I think I would have just been trying to rush with uh, rush decks that aren't really all that fast.
Yeah, I was just lucky that I had this one. This one's a gem. So like, in like, I don't know, like, we, I was pretty limited too on my Amber under 3. I had 2 decks that were good for this, and Z played one of them and he won with it, so that was good. But now I have to come through and try to win with this one, so we'll see what happens. But the idea here is that it's a best of one, so it's literally a train wreck. Like, not my favorite style of Keyforge at all. When you just do a best of one where both people are just throwing amber or throwing, like, caution to the wind and going nuts. This game shouldn't last very long. It should be a pretty short video. But we will find out how it goes. Like, maybe I'll be surprised, but I highly doubt it. But
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they chose this week in particular to make best of one.
I think they
like
did.
you get,
I think they did it because of the Thanksgiving holiday. To be honest, they didn't want people to be
that
caught
makes
up
sense.
having to play a longer game and stuff. But really, like, you're still committing the time to play, so it would have been okay, I think, to do the thing. So, let's go ahead then, and if you're ready, I think I'm ready. Like, we can go ahead and get to this dance and see what happens.
Yeah, totally.
All right, cool. I'll make. Do you want me to make the game, or do you want to?
You can.
Okay, I'll make the game. It is going to be in competitive. Actually, I put it in beginner, so it's easier for you to find. Password will be ZFA. Start. I make you subject to see to the naming of it. I'm a Z-Force agent. You gotta come get us. All right. So awesome. All right.
It's funny trying to test for this because I didn't end up. I made my choice pretty last minute, so I think most of my teammates were had already kind of done their testing and were pretty busy. So I was just testing stuff in the normal, like competitive queue and seeing how my random no amber control decks matched up against people's like actual real Keyforge decks.
Yeah, that's how I was doing mine too for a bit. It was funny, but and it did good against. I think it did better against those than it did against yours. Like, yours was actually kind of an annoyance to my strategy. So he does get to go first, which I think is actually really good for him, in some senses, and really bad for him in others. So we'll see what happens with that.
It
The
definitely
good,
makes it harder for me to decide whether I'm mulliganing here.
yeah. So the key aspect here is that I know that he can't just go off on his Logos house on me first turn right away. So that's kind of good for me. But at the same time, like, it's still an inherent danger to what his deck is doing, and I have to decide myself, like, how much of a high roll do I really want to push for, and like, how is everything going to go as far as that goes. So we will see what happens. Oh, sorry, it's taking me a minute. I'm not sure what I want to do here.
No worries.
You know what? I'm gonna keep this hand on a principle. It's not a high roll hand, which is scary to me, but it's not bad either. And the reason I kept it is because I don't want. I think the explosive start is the thing that scares me most. So having this Ember Imp and making you have to deal with it initially seems okay for me. Don't care about the Hand of Dis. I'd rather draw a card than keep it. Oh, nice. Fangtooth Cavern is gonna get a value here.
Yeah, when I saw the Ember Imps, I was like, well, there's at least one thing that it'll be good at.
Mm.
You gotta decide which other does unfortunately not get rid of that burp until the end of the turn, so I am still limited on this one.
Yeah, most of the time, I think in playtesting, people didn't play the Fangtooth Cavern, and I'm guessing it's because most of the time they high rolled logos, so like most of the logos creatures died to the Fangtooth Caverns. But I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. So there's the Murmuk as well. That's a good card. A little bit early, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
hmm. Now I have to make some decisions here. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do this for the sake of Amber. Discard. I'm getting all the cards I want to discard, so that's a bad sign. It's a bad
I
sign,
love
and
Dimension Door.
it's good in the right deck. So I pinch into the logos because I'm able to get rid of some cards I didn't really necessarily want to hold in my hand, and I'm trying to set up for my burst, right? So like I don't want to necessarily like just play a half-ass hand of some sort. I want to be drawing cards at this point early on in the game. So that's like the mindset that I'm in right now, as far as what I'm pushing. And Alec right now is like what my read is on him is that he's looking to kind of get that turn moving as well. Like he's in the logos now, so I expect to see some Igor action and some chaining and some Amber build. So, but the good news for me is that he has Fangtooth Cavern out, so that helps me not let him overwhelm one house like he would want to normally with the logos. So that's a big card to lose is Harmonia, but he's assuming at this point that he's going to be well ahead of me in creatures, which is probably an accurate assumption. And this is kind of like where I have to answer back hard, or I'm going to
This is a
fall too far behind.
very rough choice I'm being offered on this Igor right now. I think I gotta take.
All right, so it comes to my turn. What do I want to do here? All right, so for my play, we're going to go Untamed. I'm going to play this Dust Pixie. I'm going to play this Dust Pixie. I'm going to then play a Lost in the Woods. I'm going to target both my Dust Pixies because getting them back into my loop is super important. And then for him, I'm going to target his daughter because it's giving him card advantage throughout throughout his turns. Like so, every turn she's in play, it's just that much more card advantage. And then I have a choice of either getting rid of the Murmuk or getting rid of the Titan Guardian in this case, or I could get rid of, I guess, the Malison if I wanted to. But none of those guys really are threatening to me as the Titan Guardian, so I'm going to send the Titan Guardian home because I don't want him drawing two more cards if that thing finds a way to die. So that's kind of scary to me. Then I'm going to play this Way of the Wolf, which gives Skirmish to my Sealer of Souls, which kind of makes him scary now, at least a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop a key while I can because I want to get ahead. And it might be bad because he still has the mimicry, but at this point, I need to get the value I can get out of it. I might regret that decision later, but I'm not going to chain myself waiting for the perfect opportunity. All right, let's see what happened on your turn. Sorry, I had KFPL messages bombing me. Imprinted
No
remove.
worries.
Mad Mab. Inca. Inca died. Good. Not before you got the stall. That's nice. Alright, so here I think. Hmm, so go Dees, I guess. I'm going to play this Ember Imp because I know it's at least annoying. I'm going to remove the stun off of that. At least the mimicry is gone. That's a plus. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this Arise to bring back the other Ember Imp, just because he's limited in how he can get rid of them both, and I'll try to lock the board up a little bit while I fish for more Amber. It's an even heat. This train wreck is like heading to a collision course.
Yeah, definitely an awkward spot right now.
Well, I'm hoping that's because of the second Ember Imp. He has plenty of ways to get rid of creatures though, so I'm definitely not banking on the idea that they're going to stick around for any amount of time, but the amount of annoyance that hopefully they cause this turn is all I care about. Nice. Interesting. Hmm. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna play the silliness here. Get rid of a value creature, get Amber for the fight, get a second one out there. Get out of my chains. This train wreck is a real thing. That's not nice. Here's an exploit. It's gonna give him a little bit of a bump. Expect 2 exploits, not just 1. Interesting. So I thought I knew what this turn was going to be, but then he kind of changed my narrative.
Yeah, my draw's definitely been a little bit weird until this point.
Showing everybody what my deck looks like to my draw pile. It's interesting. So he's threatening. He's putting some threat on me here.
You just play this.
Nice. Okay. So we're gonna play catch up here this turn, I guess. Not that I want to yet, but I'm going to. Because this is what I learned in my playtesting: is if I hold on to this too long, it gets worse. It always gets worse. At this point in the game, you see me going into the graveyard, and part of the reason I'm going into the graveyard here is because I'm trying to count and see where I'm best going to be able to execute my control of the week, as it's important for me to have a foresight on where that's going to go. hmm These are the quiet moments of pensive gameplay.
I almost picked Logos too, even though it was the least likely.
All right, so for my turn now, I want to kind of try to put this away. So we're going to go into a turn in which I can get some value here. By playing a Dust Amp, I'm going to play this Flame Wreath on my... guess it doesn't matter. I'm going to then also... I'm going to play this just to play it because I got to get it out of my hand anyway. And then I have to make a decision. So here I'm basically weighing how I stay ahead of him in the amber count race and picking a house that I think can do the least amount of damage or the most amount of damage as far as what he's trying to get to accomplish. So I'm basically just scouting and thinking about what my plays are going forward. Just fight. We're gonna take this guy out of the game because I get an amber either way. That's good for me. And then we're going to play Control the Weak. And we're going to put you in, see, I can't put in check, so I'm going to put you into the house I think is going to be least impactful. I'm going to put you in this because the evil eye is still out there, and I know that, and it's going to be a chain in his hand for a turn if he decides not to play it, and nothing else really matters because we're going to blow up the board when he ends his turn, or he's going to let me keep the board state the way I have it. So either way, it seems okay to me. He can't really afford to well, actually, I think it's a trap at this point because if he kills, he has to put something underneath my dust imp to basically not kill my dust imp, or he has to use his Harbinger, which kills my dust imp anyway, and it puts me at 6. So this is a pretty good trap, I think, for the most part, because nothing is smaller than 2 in the House of Dees. So he's going to have to play his evil eye just to make it so that I don't have a check, and he's going to have to lose his board as well. At least that's my thoughts.
Yeah, well, it's pretty accurate, unfortunately.
So
Hmm,
now with that, like
let's do
as long and since he can't get to 6 this turn, I means I threaten to win next turn just by hitting 6 amber if I can get to 6 amber. So here you see I got really lucky and I drew into my Hunting Witch and a Dust Pixie with having another Dust Pixie still on the board. So like I was looking pretty solid to be able to get my amber count to a place he couldn't touch it. But that was the mindset of that last turn, just so you guys that are new or listening, that's you guys get the value of how I'm thinking at least. Okay, so what happened? Okay, you gave me my 2 amber. Didn't want to get rid of his Harbinger yet, which is interesting. All right, so here's my plan, or here's what I'm thinking now. Right, so I'm at 6, so I'm already in check, which is bad for him. He has to have a way to basically steal amber from me. How does he do that? He can capture one with a Malison. So that's not, I don't think that's a problem for me too bad. Like I don't have to worry about that too much. I could take care of that right now just by killing it with the Stealer, killing the Harbinger with the Stealer of Souls. That's one option I have. If he goes into Logos next turn, he has nothing that is going to interrupt me. And if he goes into Untamed, his Mimicry is still away, so I don't have to worry about a Key Burst. And he has no real way to stop me from winning. So here is the play. I have two options. I can go Deece and do what I said and just blow up the board and like make sure he has no Malisons. Um, Not as productive as me going Untamed here, playing my Hunting Witch, playing my Dew Pixie or Dust Pixie behind it, and then reaping with this Dust Pixie, and then ending turn to where I'm at 10. I don't think he can stop me unless I completely miss something, which I've done before.
Yeah, you got me. I was one turn too late on being able to do this turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just
now to put you into check before me. So
did
again,
it incorrect too.
so
Should
it
have had one
was
more.
yeah. So it was basically like I said, it was a train wreck. We literally just rushed Amber. Like that was the whole point of the game and how we got to where we got to. And I just got there a little bit quicker. So good
Yeah,
games, Alec. Sorry that it
yeah.
didn't
I
end
figured I
better.
wouldn't have a way to beat any of the 7 Dust Pixie decks, so
Yeah, it was a tough matchup
didn't
for
have
me.
one myself either.
No, but it was a good game and it was close. Like I said, like these matches I think are a coin flip no matter how good or bad the decks are against each other because literally like it's whoever can figure out how to get to their amber first. And like I did have this is the kind of every game I played in playtesting against this deck was this close. Like it was always like just a matter of could I stay ahead after key two. Key one was always a coin flip, and then like really it's who got to key two first and was on their way to the third key. Like that was the crucial point. So as you can see, both of us like positioned as well as we can. I don't think there was any play errors. Like it looked pretty clean. But I don't know. Like
Yeah,
maybe.
I think the hardest thing for me was just when my turn 2, my Igor made me choose between Mimicry and the Evil Eye, and I
Mhm.
was like, well, there's like maybe the two most important cards in my deck in this matchup, and I can only have one of them.
Yeah, yeah,
And I might have been wrong to choose Evil Eye there, but
yeah. So yeah, it was a great game, and again, Alec, thanks for coming on. Are you doing anything else with Keyforge recently? Like I know you used to write, like you were writing for Reapout. Are you going to be doing anything in the near future, or are you just?
um, I don't totally know. So teammate Dave Cordero and I had also been doing a series on our YouTube channel, which I know we talked about starting back up because um, we both have been totally working from home. So uh, we figure it's not an issue for us to record those. But don't want to give any promises if
Yeah, that's
we
fair.
both are just a little too busy to get to that right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, for now I don't have any solid plans. But
Well,
definitely stuff to check out
Dave,
that I don't.
Dave is definitely a great sparring partner. So he's one of the best
Yeah,
Keyforge players out there. So like absolutely awesome. And best of luck to you and your team and the rest of this ABR league. And if I see you, hopefully I'll see you in some of these KFPL events at some point and see you making a run for the gusto there.
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, that does it all for this ABR Chronicle episode 2 with Alec from Team Reapout. And thanks again for being a sport and jumping on with me. And hopefully you guys learned something because the reason we're doing this is so that hopefully you guys can kind of see into the way that some players think and stuff. Not saying that by any means I'm the end all be all of thinkers. I make tons of mistakes all the time. So if you see something in these game lines that you think would have been better or something, feel free to chat that up. And again, check out anything that Alec and Team Reapout are doing over there. They're one of the original OG teams. So, best of luck to you guys all. And as always, if I can do anything to help you guys out, let me know. But this is Jupiter from Manlius, New York, checking out of ABR Chronicles. And don't forget about our holiday triad treat, best of one triad tournament with 75 SAS cap, three different sets with no heart of the forest, lots of prizes on the line, spots in the next KFPL, and all we need is you to show up. And don't forget, we're giving $10 per entrant to Doctors Without Borders. So this is the Fifth Planet Keyforge, Jupiter from Manlius, New York, signing off.